I don't think we realize what the Dallas Cowboys just did. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is the Dallas Cowboys are potentially signing a 4-time Pro Bowl pass rusher. It's the week before Christmas. 'Tis the season for some grace from our bosses. Less to do, maybe a holiday bonus, or even in the case of Justin Houston, permission to leave. The Carolina Panthers cut the veteran edge rusher on Tuesday, bringing an amicable end to his short stint in the NFC South. The move comes with minimal risk to the team and allows Houston, who turns 35 in January, a chance to pursue a better opportunity and perhaps one last chance at a Super Bowl. As has been reported, Houston is open to playing again this season, but only for a contender. As much as their ego was bruised in Sunday's 31-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills, the Cowboys are still contenders. At 10-4 and firmly in the conversation for the second-best team in the NFC, Dallas is presumably one of the dozen teams Houston would consider. One argument against: fans shouldn't expect a late-season reinforcement on the edge because there simply isn't any room for him. The Cowboys are productive as a pass rush group. Pro Football Focus has the pass rush ranked 3rd in all of football, behind just the Cleveland Browns and San Francisco 49ers. They rank 5th in sack percentage, one of the dozen teams with at least 40 sacks, and sit in the top half of the league in pressure percentage. It may not be the world-beating unit it looked like it would be after the first month of the season, but Dallas is perfectly fine in this regard. Furthermore, the unit is also deep enough to sustain an injury. Obviously, losing superstar Micah Parsons or stalwart DeMarcus Lawrence would be detrimental, but rotational pass rushers Dante Fowler Jr., Dorrance Armstrong, and Sam Williams all have a higher pass rush win rate than Houston, 9.5. Houston did start 7 games this year, and he is officially a 4-time Pro Bowler. But his heyday was almost literally a decade ago. The veteran has just a half sack to his name in 7 games this season, struggling to stay on the field for what is a putrid Panthers defense. A flip-side argument: adding Houston might free Parsons to play more off-ball linebacker, a spot where Dallas was, as you'll remember, interesting in Shaq Leonard before he picked Philly. But again, how would Dallas justify putting Houston on the field ahead of Dante Fowler Jr., Dorrance Armstrong, and Sam Williams? If Houston comes along for the ride and provides some mentorship and depth to a stretch run, so be it. But basically, any other team making a championship push makes more sense for both parties. The Buffalo Bills embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys at Highmark Stadium in Week 15. During Buffalo's 31-10 win, running back James Cook rushed the ball 25 times for a career-high 179 yards and a touchdown, along with 2 receptions for 42 yards and a score. A heavily banged-up Bills defense kept Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott to just 134 passing yards and 0 touchdowns. Heading into Orchard Park, Dallas ranked 1st in the league in points per game and 2nd in yards per game. Prescott hadn't thrown an interception in 4 straight games before he was picked off by Bills cornerback Christian Benford. During an appearance on 105.3 The Fan on Tuesday, December 19th, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones discussed what went wrong in Buffalo. "We didn't finish, period," Jones said, per the Buffalo News. However, his attempt to explain why Dallas struggles on the road was panned by his own fan base. "Weather, for instance," Jones said, "when it's wet and when it's dry. You say the other team has to play when it's wet too. Yeah, they do, but I'm just giving you a difference. We have perfect conditions at home. We have the elements when we're on the road, and it's a tough time of year weather-wise." Blogging with Boys posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, "Don't do this. Just accept the loss." Even 105.3. The Fan host Sean Sheriff countered, but the first half was clear. One Cowboys fan responded, "Good teams shouldn't have this problem. Hopefully we don't encounter it again this season." Another person wrote, "He was right to an extent. I was at the game, and it was nasty, but that's something both teams had to work through. No excuse." The second story is Mike McCarthy gives injury update on the Dallas Cowboys as they prepare for the Miami Dolphins. Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy offered an update on Monday regarding the injury that All-Pro guard Zach Martin suffered during the team's road loss to the Buffalo Bills in Week 15 of the 2023 NFL season. McCarthy, 60, said Martin. "We'll definitely have a chance to play this week versus Miami Dolphins," according to Todd Archer of ESPN. The Cowboys enforcer left the loss to Buffalo with a quad injury. Martin, 33, left the game late in the first quarter with Dallas already trailing 14-3 and spoke to the media in the locker room after the 10-31 defeat. "I'm hoping this week treat it and get it ready to go on Sunday," Martin said. "I feel good about that." Cowboys will look to bounce back against a high-powered offense in the Dolphins, and Martin's presence is vital. His absence through more than 3/4 against the Bills was one of the main reasons why the Cowboys were unable to score until garbage time. Martin is rated in the top 10 at his position for several blocking categories, and Cowboys fans are fortunate he avoided a more serious injury. Officiating was far from the only reason why the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Buffalo Bills in blowout fashion on Sunday, but it certainly didn't help them. Dallas lost 48 yards on 5 penalties, compared to Buffalo's 15 yards on just 1 flag. Granted, it's not entirely unexpected as the Cowboys are the most penalized team in the league this season with 102 flags on the season, but that is not something to be proud of by any means. While no Cowboy was happy with the penalties they took on Sunday, one was particularly frustrated. After the game, Dallas safety Jaron Kearse called out the officials for an unnecessary roughness penalty he drew for a hit on Buffalo receiver Khalil Shakir. "Any penalty is costly, but this one was particularly so. The play was a 2nd and 19, so instead of facing a 3rd and forever, the Bills got a free first down and punched it into the end zone a few plays later. To make matters worse, the Cowboys thought they had a turnover on a strip sack of Josh Allen, but the play was blown dead and Dallas opted not to challenge. It's easy to understand why Kearse is frustrated, as the call is debatable and may have gone the other way if Shakir managed to hold on. However, the fact that he left his feet to deliver the hit certainly doesn't help his case. Regardless of whether or not the penalty was warranted, the Cowboys must play cleaner football if they want to make a run in the playoffs. The third story is how Dallas Cowboys' Brandon Aubrey went from pro soccer to Cowboys kicker. When they were strangers brought together by a common friend, and the thought that one day they would be Dallas Cowboys teammates was unfathomable, Dak Prescott was doing his best to distract Brandon Aubrey. This was about a year into Aubrey's journey to the NFL when, dreaming of playing for his hometown team, making the first 31 field goal attempts of his career and becoming the league's scoring leader as a rookie seemed outlandish. Heck, just months earlier in 2019, Aubrey was kicking side by side with middle and high schoolers. Prescott shot a text to Aubrey's kicking coach, Brian Egan, a friend and teammate at Mississippi State, asking what Egan was doing. Egan was at the Warren Sports Complex in Frisco, Texas, working out a couple of his kickers, including Aubrey. It's 7 miles away from the star, but galaxies away from the NFL. The Cowboys quarterback told Egan he was coming over. At the time, neither of them knew Prescott was coming, Egan said. They knew me and him had a relationship from being good friends in college, but this was a surprise treat for the boys. It did put a little extra pressure on them, like, let's see what they can do. Soon, Prescott set up a kicking competition and was barking instructions. The winner would get $200. 48-yard line, left hash, he said. 33 yards middle, he said. The other kicker side he could make all 10 kicks. He made 8. Prescott had a couple of friends with him. They were pretending to be fans of the opposition's team, Aubrey said. Just kind of booing you and whatnot, making it as realistic as possible. Aubrey made 9. Prescott's nickname for Aubrey may not have been born that day, but when the Cowboys signed Aubrey before training camp, the quarterback had a feeling about him. "I was just like, hey, my buddy's an athlete," Prescott said. "I was cheering for him in that whole competition, but I wasn't sure. I kept saying, he's a pro, he's a grown man, he's going to kick it. He'll be fine." Aubrey's ascension from national champion soccer player at Notre Dame to MLS first-round pick with Toronto FC to software engineer at GM Financial to a player for the Birmingham Stallions of the USFL and now NFL record holder with the Cowboys has a connective tissue that started while watching football one Sunday with his wife Jen. But she wanted to clarify one point. It actually wasn't after seeing an NFL player's missed kick, because I think anytime a player misses an opportunity, the reaction is, "Oh, I could have done that," Jen said. "We were just watching a game and I was thinking, honestly, Brandon can do that." I know he thought it was a little far-fetched, but what made me think it was watching him play soccer at Notre Dame? He had an incredible shot. I knew he had a good leg, but I don't know I could imagine this. Then came the Google search. The first result that appeared was one-on-one kicking with Egan. At Aubrey's first workout with Egan, he was with 4 middle and high school kickers. One of them was Josh Plaster, who is now a punter at the University of Oklahoma. At the time, Plaster was a 17-year-old junior from Flower Mound, Texas high school. I thought maybe Aubrey was someone that went to college and was coming back to try to kick again in college like some of the Australians, Plaster said. I don't know, but we were pretty shocked when he showed up. At first, Aubrey was asking the kids questions, but then the tables turned. I could tell off the bat that his ball contact was something that's out of a comic book, Plaster said. It's unreal. He doesn't swing his leg very hard and it's a missile off his foot. Really high, really far.